I want to read you guys a comment from one of you. Mercy CEO says, what's super cool about the Steam Deck and other handhelds like it, it lowers the floor of cost for the price of entering PC gaming. On top of that, they really lower the expectation of what we find acceptable for graphics and performance in PC games. No more rushing out to get RTX 4090s because comfortability rules or overrules being changed to the desktop. And I think personally that is indeed the most accurate sentiment that I have even experienced when it comes to the Steam Deck, as well as this new discovery for a way of gaming. You see, I already kind of pre-wet it and wet it again to keep it warm. For me, a big part of this hobby was because I was having a kid. I found out I was gonna be a dad in 2020, January of 2020, became a dad in September of 2020, and was confronted or faced with the reality that I need to figure out how I want to maintain this hobby. And so I started this channel. We're still here today. It's gone through a lot of different iterations, and on that note, like the first, before we get too far into this, say thank you. Thank you all. We're at 50,000. That happened 2 nights ago. My wife and I watched it, and then I woke up to an additional 100 of you joining this journey as a dad who is looking to figure out how to game the most I can. It excites me to have others like you to join this journey because I just feel like we're not alone here. And so I want to crack into this, what Mercy CEO said about the Steam Deck and how I 100% think he's accurate. Now, the first thing I noticed when I got my Steam Deck was it was different, right? It was very much so different than what I was used to. I was used to portability of the Switch nature, which is easier in a lot of ways and in some ways just a little bit more limiting. But being an Apple user, I'm very used to having a ecosystem that is somewhat closed. Apple is notorious for having closed ecosystems, or not ecosystems, closed experiences, which I think lends itself to a somewhat better experience for a user like myself who is looking for something that's just easier to use. But that may not be for everybody. I'm, kind of a tech enthusiast, but also PC dumb. So when I played something like the Legion Go, I was like, what in this good green earth am I dealing with? Because I'm so unfamiliar with Windows that it was like the most foreign experience I've ever experienced. And so that's why the Legion Go was very limited in its time on this channel. But I'm hoping that as I do more of this PC gaming and I build out a PC, as well as dive deeper into my mini PC that I've been sent by Geekom like last year, I'll be able to learn more about this because this is the future for me. I strongly believe that, this is crooked, whatever. I strongly believe that for me and for where I'm at in this gaming world, as a dad and as someone who's trying to make the best of my money, the whole PC gaming thing that I have been so against and have not been against, but just in the opposite direction for such a long time is the answer for me. And so what Steam, I don't know if they meant to do this, or Valve, I don't know if they meant to do this, but what the Steam Deck does, if you don't own one and you're thinking about it, I'm not gonna try to convince you to get it. The only thing I'm gonna try to convince you to get is this mug right here. If you purchase this mug, you'll be a part of the Play community. And also, I get $4. And so with that $4, I go and buy ground beef and make burgers. Maybe not with the exact $4, but that's how much ground beef costs. At least 80-20, which is what you need to use for burgers. Anything less than 80-20, let's be honest, it just is too crumbly. You want that fattiness there. So there's your little barbecue tip. I mean, we're all dads here. We all barbecue. If you're not barbecuing as a dad, what you doing? I don't wear white Nikes, but I do. And I'm just joking with the Nikes. Anyone who says Nikes is terrifying. Or New Balances, but I do barbecue. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The Steam Deck's barrier of entry for gaming was so low. And I think that is a really big deal that it was so low, because what that ends up doing is, as Mercy said, establishes a different expectation. You see, when I play video games, especially as someone coming from console, let's see what cup we're using today. 3, we're going with the Amber Cup. Especially as someone who's coming from console, I found myself wanting ease of use, but most of all, wanting more flexibility. Up until the Nintendo Switch, the flexibility that you got with gaming was just if you wanted to pick up the console and put it and attach it to a different TV. Or if you wanted to use your console to watch movies or play music, it was an entertainment device rather than just a video game device, which was cool. That's cool flexibility. But as the past few years and as the world changed, especially in 2020, a lot of people went from playing games on their TVs to bringing their gaming consoles into their offices, plugging it into their monitors. There were people that were already there, but people like myself, as well as a tremendous amount of my friends, realized that maybe the gaming console experience is meant to be had at a desk. What is that reminiscent of? I'm not going to make you wait too long. PC gaming. And so, as someone who has been kind of trying to prove the point that console gaming is really the more practical way about doing things, I realized something quite special. I, as a console gamer with my PlayStation 5 sitting right there, my Xbox used to be sitting there, but it's packaged up and it's on its way to be sold to someone else, my Steam Deck right here, my Nintendo Switch right here, my other things, they're plugged into the very TV that I use as my monitor. And so it ends up being a desk experience. And so the Steam Deck, what that ended up doing was going, hey, how about we take that AAA experience that you have been enjoying on your Nintendo Switch, and let's pull it off, and let's make it a little bit better. Let's put on something like a Steam Deck, better hardware. Let's, play PlayStation level games, lower resolution, on a Steam Deck, better hardware, sustained frame rates, stuff like that. And I started to enter into this crazy world of playing games that I thought I had to sit at a desk to play anywhere I wanted with battery life that is manageable. Oh my gosh, this Guatemala is out of this world. Again, today we're drinking it's a natural. That's surprising. I don't really like naturals. Okay. But it's Ayarza. I keep saying Raza. It's Ayarza. Santa Rosa, Guatemala by Feast Coffee and Culture out of Redding, California. Very delicious. Very delicious. And huge shout out to the person who's probably not watching this, who said, stop talking about coffee. We're trying to watch stuff about the Steam Deck or the Xbox. We're not here for your coffee stuff. Oh, whoops. Guess I read the room wrong. This is delicious coffee. And watch me just talk about coffee the rest of this. No, I'm not. I really want to talk more about what Mercy said because it spoke truly to me. Because that's exactly who I am. Is that who you are too? Are you someone who has rediscovered your gaming passion? Are you someone who thought that you had to hang up your controller or put away your mouse and key because, responsibilities took the front seat and therefore video games can't be a part of someone's life if they're going to be a responsible adult? Now, I'm all for being responsible. I'm all for doing the right thing and also maintaining some level of balance in one's life. But as someone who I would say at this point needs video games in my life to maintain some level-headedness because it allows me to blow off steam, it allows me to experience stories, and it allows me to share experiences with other dads out there. I don't know if you dads are like me, but I know that being a father can oftentimes feel very isolating. I, as a father of 2 children and one who works at home and my wife goes out, I take care of these 2 children, one being 3 and another one being they just turned 9 months. He just turned 9 months. I am someone who is like, I am at home with these children all the time and I don't get to go to groups, right? Because there's no daddy groups. They're all mommy groups. And I'm not going to be the one daddy there with all the mommies because 2024, we all know how that works. Thanks a lot. Fill in the blank. That being said, Video games have allowed me to maintain a level of community with individuals who share in this very art form. Because we, as people who play video games, are very used to digital relationships and digital conversations because we've been doing this since online gaming has existed. Granted, it's a little bit more positive now than the COD lobbies and the Halo lobbies of old, but still, Discord and Steam chat, all this stuff is something that exists for us that we've been using for years and years, and allows me as a father who finds himself within the confines of my home oftentimes, taking my kids to events and different things like that, but still not out there being able to be around people who share this passion with me as often. I find video games as a way for me to interact with more people. But let's be honest, dads, like when you're at home and you want to get after something, it's pretty unlikely that you are going to stop Bluey from happening in the other room just to crush maybe a few hours of Elden Ring while your 3-year-old watches at the edge of her seat going, "Daddy, why does that woman have 4 heads?" Right? Probably not the best play. But maybe Mario Wonder isn't really your cup of coffee right now because you're wanting something a little bit more story-rich. Well, that's where I was. That's exactly where I was. That's exactly how I felt when it came to my gaming. See, I found myself not being able to sit at my desk and play the games I wanted to play. Sure, I could and just pawn my kids off on someone else, or worse yet, just slap an iPad in their hands. As I said that, my 3-year-old knocked on my door to ask me to help her go potty, which she can. She just needs me out there, so this is going to be brief. You see, locking yourself in the room, taking away the television from family, or whatever it may be, just isn't the right move. And having those late nights also probably isn't happening as much as you want to as well, because we all have work responsibilities. Staying up till 2 in the morning on a Wednesday just to have to be at work at 8 a.m. on a Thursday, I think I got those days right, is not practical. It's irresponsible, and it's really not the way that we as dads should function. We should be always prepared, ready to take care of our family, ready to serve our wives, ready to do all these things. And if we're not doing that, then yeah, maybe gaming is getting in the way. I am a huge advocate of early mornings. I think that early mornings are the places where dads should live their lives between the hours of, however you want to see it. I function between 4 and 7 because those are the 3 hours I get to myself. I'll work a little bit late at night, maybe till 10, to make sure that I have those early morning hours. Last night I did that very thing so I could wake up this morning and play some more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because yesterday I spent all day working, the rest of the day taking care of my family, and also the evening spending time with my wife. And so while she was getting the kids ready for bed, I finished up the video that you saw yesterday, and I decided to, wake up early. Well, the Steam Deck allows me to get that fix. No, it's not really a fix because I don't Jones for it. The excitement I have having my daughter curled up in a ball while I hold her, my son crawling around the floor eating his peanut butter puffs, and Bluey on the screen, or music going while my kids playing with Legos or whatever it may be, is so nice. Yes, I get involved with them. I play Legos with them. I color with them. But as parents, it's okay to let kids play by themselves. You can be present in the room, be there with them, but maybe, just maybe, a child coloring in her coloring book for, half an hour while you sit in the same room next to them playing, a couple missions of 7 Reunion, or, getting after whatever, Final Fantasy X is where I'm at right now, is okay. Maybe while your wife is watching her favorite show and she just wants you to be next to her, you have the Steam Deck as long as it's okay and understood and you're good to go. I mean, there's so many jokes out there that millennials just sit on the couch together sending memes back and forth on Instagram. But what if you ditched Instagram, you sat in the room together and you both enjoyed one reads a book, another plays a video game, and you're good to go. I have currently traded in almost every television show that I used to watch, any mindless moment that I would have sat in front of the TV and watched a show I've watched 100 times, for intentional gaming. Because I think intentional gaming is the savior to this very hobby, especially as a father, as a businessman, as a husband. I think intentionality in anything is really important, and everything in between, but specifically with gaming, as responsibilities take the front seat, being intentional is something that we all need to do. I was talking about this in Discord. Mindless Self-Indulgence, a weird band from like the mid-2000s. That's not what I was talking about, but let me tell you, if you want to hear the weirdest music ever, I don't support it. I don't think it's good music, but they're a band. But the idea of mindless self-indulgence, of just scrolling on Instagram and letting it hit you in the head with dopamine, whatever it may be, is something that we talk about, but we don't try to change as much. People do it all the time and criticize it, but it's a joke. It's okay. But what if intentional hobbies was something that wasn't demonized as much? You see, I don't think that being productive is necessarily the thing that needs to happen with spare time all the time. Sure, working on projects is important, being present is important, but enjoying something is also important. The Steam Deck for me allowed me to enjoy my hobby in a way that was responsible. And as Mercy says, it allowed me to continue this hobby because I was hitting a wall. Nintendo is 7 years old. Nintendo Switch, that is 7 years old. The company itself is much older. But the Nintendo Switch, 7 years old, nothing on the horizon for me. Holding on to that was starting to become stale, was starting to become a little depressing in some ways, and I was starting to feel like I was losing my hobby. The very company that I wanted to work with, the very, very thing that I have stuff everywhere. I have a Nintendo 64 book coming in. Like, I love my time with Nintendo, but they just aren't doing it for me in my mid-30s with children wanting to be engulfed in story. I gave up TV. I gave up movies. There's not much out there. It's all filled with sex and nonsense anyway. So I wanted my stories back. I wanted to be taken into a world. And again, no criticisms, but playing 2D side-scrollers with fun mechanics but little depth to the emotional attachment you have to the character, for me was becoming a little bit redundant. Tot K was great. I enjoyed Tears of the Kingdom. The ending was phenomenal, but I still left that experience going, I need more. Final Fantasy 16 was the one game that really spoke to me this past year, and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth has become my favorite game of all time, and I cannot get enough of it. It truly has completely taken over my thoughts when it comes to when I want to play, and I can't wait till that's available on Steam Deck, because just as I'm 100%ing it on the PlayStation 5, the day it becomes available on Steam Deck, I will absolutely purchase it and do the exact same thing all over again, because this game, for me, is complete perfection. But listen to what I'm saying. The portability aspect of the Steam Deck has reignited the fire and got me excited for playing games again, because I don't have to sacrifice everything to play. I can play while doing things. And the barrier of entry is so low that it granted me access to a complete library that I had never used before. In fact, it encouraged me and excited me to enter into PC gaming, because I no longer have the expectation that I'm going to have the best of the best. Rather, I have the expectation that I'm going to be able to play flexibly. Flexibly? Flexibly. I'm going to be able to play amazing games at higher frame rates in a better environment, sitting at my desk in my beautiful office, this library of wonder. And for the 90% of the time that the only thing I can do is be on the go, continue those games portably. The PC Steam Deck combination for me has made it possible for a father and husband in my mid-30s to continue the very hobby that I thought just last year, truly, in November of last year when I started making these cups, thought I was actually going to have to give up. I genuinely believed that by 2024, my video game hobbies would have to be released, because I found myself with less and less time to do the very thing that I enjoyed outside of my family. Now, the only thing that I feel like is necessary as a father, husband, and man is to create. I think creating is the most important thing out there. And creating a life for me in this space, creating a name for myself in the gaming space, really doesn't mean much for me. I'm excited to do it. I like that there's people out there like me, but the only thing I want to create is a legacy, and that is only in my children. So I don't care what comes of this. I don't care if I become someone in this space that's an authority. It doesn't matter. I just want to share the excitement with as many people as possible. I'd like to make an income off of this because I seem to enjoy it, but it doesn't matter to me because I have the two very things that matter to me most: 3, my wife does too. The 2 children of which my wife and I created together. It's very important to me that those be the top priority. And when it comes to gaming in this space, like, cool. That's why a lot of what has happened over these past few months, as we address the 50,000 people that are here, has changed. That's why it's become a little bit more accessible. That's why I make coffee, because I'm doing it anyway. That's why this has been a conversation, because this is all I want to do. I just want to speak to you, dads. I just want to speak to you guys. Continue playing video games, but also take care of your families, because us fathers, we need to be there. But we need to not only be there present in the moment, but we need to be there equipped and ready to be dads. And that requires a little bit of R&R from time to time. And so, when it comes to that R&R, if video games are the way you get that, continue playing. Double middle fingers to everyone out there who says video games are bad for you. Because I can assure you, I am a better father, a better husband, a better cook, a better everything. Because I'm able to have moments to myself where I experience stories that are magical. And right now, the Steam Deck is granting me that access. And that is the most unbelievable gift that I can ask for. I just love it. I wish that I could be an affiliate for Steam Deck so I could make a few bucks off of the purchases, but alas, they don't offer that. So all I can say is, honestly, to you guys, when it comes to gaming, the barrier of entry is lower than it's ever been for PC gaming. Oh, there goes my water bottle. And I think that the Steam Deck is the beginning of something quite special. It definitely is a proof of concept. Nintendo Switch brought to the table portable, flexible location gaming. Steam Deck perfected it, and now this next generation, the 10th generation, is going to be something quite special. And, well, actually, tomorrow what we're going to talk about is how I feel like waiting for the next generation is something as a dad I just don't want to do anymore. And it's the very, very reason why I think I'm leaving the console game. And so we'll chat about that tomorrow. But until then, I'm going to finish this cup of coffee while sitting on the couch with my child while she watches Bluey, and I'm going to continue down the path of Final Fantasy X. Because that excites me. All right, dads. See you around, but most of all, happy gaming.